Hi everyone, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all my new subscribers. I so appreciate you joining in with me, and I hope I have more in the future. Alrighty, so the last time that we were on together, I made some of these lovely little, what do you call them? Oh, the frilly flowers, yes. So this is what I've added. I've added this one to some ephemera that will be going into my junk journal that I started on. So this is just Tim Holtz. This is actually Tim Holtz wallpaper, something that looks like old wallpaper. And then what I did was I just used this on the edges to kind of rough it up. You just kind of go along the edges like that. And then I just added some vintage photo along here and give it that aged look. And of course I added in my own lace back there. So I just thought that looked really nice and very unique looking. Alrighty, so today we are going to definitely work on more frilly things, but I thought I would show you how to make something that looks sort of shabby chic. And we're going to be using jeans and some other materials. And this just happens to be a little, looks like a little spool of thread. And it's called Small Town Treasures. And it was something I got, not really from Hobby Lobby, I got it from the thrift store. So I just wanted to tell you that I could have used a button, but for some reason, even though I looked through all my buttons, I didn't really see anything that I wanted on here, you know. So this is kind of like my prototype, just to I had to kind of see how this material was going to work out. And it worked out pretty good. Now I'm going to be using my, no, I don't have a bigger circle punch, so I'm still working with a 1.5 inch punch here for the circle here, and it's actually a scallop. But that's okay, you know, just as long as you get something. And I would imagine if you don't have a punch, you could even you can just cut a circle, whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I already got my glue gun ready to go here, and I'm just going to put my keyboard up here so it doesn't get in the way. Maybe. We'll see. So I just thought I'd walk you through this process that my husband, of course, donated a pair of his wonderful jeans. And I thought, well, what can I do with an old pair of jeans? Well, this idea popped in my head, and I thought, well, let's just kind of run with it and see where it goes. And I'm not really doing any kind of measuring or anything like that. You're definitely going to want to use some sort of really good fabric scissors on these, because these are very stiff material. Even though you wash them and wash them and wash them, you still, you know, are going to run into different thicknesses. You're not going to want to keep the seams. You're going to want to cut those off. But go ahead and save them, because you can always use your scraps. And we'll have a video sometime of what I have done with my scraps, so you too can also learn something new to do with scraps. Why not? So as you can see, those are very uneven. I'm not even really worried about that or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and cut out. This is just the leg of the pant. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out another section here. So I have enough if I want to do another shabby chic. That's what I'm calling them anyway, shabby chic. Definitely very shabby. You want to be careful when you're cutting, because voila, I have been cut with scissors. before, and I've, you know, cut myself with hair cutting scissors too. Those could be really smart. Because out of high school, I had gone to cosmetology school, and I had learned all that wonderful stuff and everything having to do with the nerves, the face, hair, scalp, you name it. I learned it. And I'm sure if you're familiar with that, and if you've gone through that training, you know what that's like too. Now, did I become a beautician? No, I did not. Actually, I went in a different direction. But that's okay. You know, I mean, I have that now under my belt, and I know how to cut my own hair, and yeah. I'm looking for something, but now I'm okay. I've got stuff all around me here, and I would take my camera just to sort of show you all what's around me, but I'm not going to do that. So, you know, let's just call it for what it is. It's just a lot of junk around on my thing here. To cut these out, I'm just using backings that come with various things. You can even use a very thin paper, you know, like a very thin chipboard from like cereal boxes or whatever you can get a punch through. Excuse me, whatever you can get a punch through is basically what you want to, and you want something that's going to be sturdy. Okay, so first when I was doing this, I thought, oh no, I'm going to be working with this. This is going to be a lot. It's not going to be as lacy, that's for sure. So these are all basically roughly the same. I'm not even worried about how wonderful they are. In fact, just to kind of add a little bit more interest, maybe I'll just kind of add in a little bit of a wave to this. Just kind of scallop this here, just to make it a little bit more challenging on my part here. Because that's just what I do. I just challenge myself. I don't know what's happened to my voice today. Just things happen, and I don't always know. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. You just never know what kind of a design you're going to come up with. So we kind of... Okay, well, it's not bad. I'll just eyeball it. Okay. I will say that today was a teaser as far as the weather is concerned. You know, this being winter and it being February, I would have expected cooler temperatures, but our temperatures climbed up to the mid-50s. Now, I wasn't out in it today or anything, but yeah, it's just, I'm sure it was very pleasant out there. I was off today from work, and so, yeah, I always enjoy having my time off, my days off. Okay, so when you're working with something like this, it doesn't have to be even, so I wouldn't really worry about that so much. But because you're working with a raw edge, I do still, you may not want to fold this over, but I'm going to anyway. So I'll try not to be so much out of the shot, sorry. Okay. Okay, that must be just a spot in the material. Okay, well, that's even more shabby chic. It just adds to the shabby chic, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to want to add a little spot of glue on here to start out. You know, I kind of wish my my wall was over on my right side, but it's not. It's over on the left. So what I mean by that is it would make it a lot better if I could plug in my thing my glue gun over to the right side since I'm right-handed. But oh well, we'll work. Here I am way over here, and you can't see anything. How silly is that? Okay, so just like with the flat lace, what you're wanting to do is you're going to want to do a pinch and a pleat here. You're going to want to kind of pinch that material as you go. If you're working with a dual temp glue gun, you're going to want to put that on the lower setting because unless you enjoy burning yourself. And then I just waited 2 or 3 seconds and then I just removed that excess glue. Yeah, just kind of get rid of that. So we're just pinching and pleating. Might be a little bit harder to work with this because it is a stiffer, material. Okay, don't want to go off camera here. So anyway, I would have started my video much earlier today, but I just, as much as I tried, I just could not get any motivation going. It's terrible. I'm like that sometimes. And since I'm a type of person that can't really have caffeine, just so terrible sometimes. I would imagine caffeine would have helped. But alas, it's all right. I have caffeine once in a while. I just can't have too much, though. So I'm just kind of, don't know if you can really see it too much. Probably don't have the greatest lighting tonight because I am doing it in the night. I only have 3 lights. I've got a desk lamp over here to the right. I've got one that's over there that's connected to underneath my shelf, and I've got one on the wall over there. So all the lights are different. I've got LED lights, I've got a regular incandescent. So just take your pick. So the lighting is not going to be great. I know the other night when I uploaded a video from February 5th, it took, my goodness, it took almost up past midnight to get it uploaded. It's not because I have a slow internet service or anything like that. It just is, it just takes that long. So, go figure. Okay, so you're going to want to check because this is not really thin material, you're going to want to check the underneath side, make sure that is being glued down. So you're going to want to have to run a little thin line of glue over here as well. And you just lightly, well, not lightly, but just want to smoosh that down, make sure it's going to stick. And believe you me, it will. Oops. Well, I didn't want it to stick that much. Not that side there. So you're working with blue jean material, so I'm not sure. Now, this blue jean material does not have any spandex in it, so I'm not sure how it would do if you are working with blue jeans that have a little bit of lycra or spandex or whatever it is that they put in these new blue jean type of material, because it's not just always all cotton anymore. Pardon you, scissors, go over there. So, I would maybe do like a trial run, kind of test it out, see how it works. If it works fine, then go for it. If it doesn't work well, then you'll know, I suppose. I don't see why, you would have a problem with spandex or anything like that. Now see, this is what you don't want to do. You want to make sure that you leave room here that you don't want this to stick so much on that side, at least until you get this one pleat done here. I'm sorry if I'm off camera. Just let me know in the comments if I go off camera or whatever. I have been loving your comments and your compliments and everything. It's just been wonderful, and it's just been really nice. I've just been loving it. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, but I'm still very thankful for the subscribers I do have, and I do thank you. Okay. Once that glue cools down a little bit, then I don't mind kind of pulling it away, And of course, anytime I'm doing pinching and pleating here, my thumbs want to go numb on me. Heck, it wouldn't do me any good to be a beautician nowadays. Because I would be having problems with my arms and my hands. And let me think what else. Oh yeah, and I don't like the smell of perms. I don't know, do they do perms anymore? I'm not aware. I don't go to the I haven't been to the beautician just for my own hair, and well, it's probably been about probably a couple of years at least. For myself, I don't get like I don't get my hair colored or anything like that, because mainly because my scalp is just too sensitive for using hair colorings and things like that, so I just don't get it done. And anyway, I've accepted the fact that my hair is not what my original hair color used to be. So I've just accepted that fact. But anyway, I'm sure I'm probably going off camera, but anyway, so you can kind of see that where we've kind of scalloped that a little bit. So, and then when you come to your end here, which you will come to an end, you're going to want to just put a little bit of glue on there. I guess they still do perms. I don't know. I'm not aware of it. I just don't like the smell of perms. Ugh. I used to didn't mind that kind of thing, but I don't know. After I got past a certain age, it's like, I don't know, certain aromas kind of bother me. And they have to be pretty strong too, like one thing I am allergic to, and this has nothing to do with beauty shop stuff, but I'm allergic to paint thinner. I know my husband used to use that because he used to paint with oils, and well, I just got very, very ill from it all. But anyway, I digress. So now we're starting, because we ran out of that particular one, we're starting with the second one here. And I've already run my glue here. All the things we talk about. Think nothing of it. Just something that we talk about. So you'll just want to, where you left off, that's where you're going to want to start that one then. You just run a little thin glue right there. So it kind of already looks like you've got a pleat there. I don't know if you can see that or not. So then you just run your finger through there. Not when it's still hot, obviously, but you want to wait till it kind of cools down a little bit. So then you'll start your pinching and your pleating all over again. I've just had a lot of fun making these. I still have the other ones I made where I added the butterfly and different things. I have not used those yet. I probably will eventually. Now, every once in a while, you're going to want to check back here to see if this is all being glued down okay. And if it's not, if you can pull it up, then you're going to want to make sure that's down on the back as well. So when you're going around the corner, you're just going to want to be a little bit careful. You want to make sure that you are definitely folding that over there. See? I know you can see, but anyway, and then when that cools down a little bit, you just run your finger over that and get rid of that extra glue. Because a lot of glue is unsightly, in my opinion. It's okay if you can cover it up with something, but sometimes it's just, I don't know, it gets really messy sometimes. And my tool is quite messy with a lot of dry glue. So see, you want to check this every once in a while to make sure that this is getting glued or staying glued down. So you just want to run a little bit of glue there and just make sure it's down. And I wouldn't worry about if your pleats aren't perfect, because you know your pleats are not going to be perfect. You know, that's just, it's the way it goes in the crafting world sometimes. That's part of the fun, you know, especially when it's a shabby chic. That's what I'm calling it anyway, shabby chic. So when you're working with this kind of stuff, it's not going to be just necessarily perfect. Kind of like my videos. They're not, my videos aren't perfect. I hope let's see, yeah, see, that's not, there were several pleats that are not even going down here, so make sure you run your glue along here and not just on the pleats. And even though your pleats, this type of material doesn't like to make those turns, you make it you make it work. And I know you've heard me say something about my old home ec teacher. She'd always tell me, well, make it work. And that's, anytime I craft, that is now my motto. I'll make it work. She was a nice lady, but it was funny. Well, you know, when you're a kid, your teachers there's usually something about your teachers that you think are funny. Think is funny about them. At least I did anyway. So then see, we're coming down to this part here. So I'm going to make another pleat. I'm going to pinch it. We're going to pleat it. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure where I am on the time. It's like the numbers are really itty bitty on this phone, and of course it's hard for me to see up close, but then even with my glasses on, geez, it's still hard to see that tiny little font. Ugh. It's one thing I don't like. That's one of the drawbacks of getting older, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. I'm not worried about these little strings that are in the middle or wherever the strings happen to be. That just adds to the shabbiness of them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pleat. Since there's a pleat that way, I'm going to pleat it, kind of go back on this here, and I'm going to make a pleat there. And then hopefully I don't burn myself. Which is usually what happens to me. So then, let's see. What I'm going to do here, hang on a minute. Is that glue? Yes, that's glue. Is that glue? Okay, so I got to make sure that this is, see how that wants to stick up like that? Yay. Yay. That is not good. Okay. Now it's kind of like, okay, so how are we going to end this? I'm going to use my Tim Holtz sisters. Not sisters. Heavenly days. Scissors. Oh my gosh. Wow. That just sounded weird. I have to do a little bit more gluing right there. You might want to use an instrument to make sure your fingers aren't being you know, caught up in the heat of everything. Okay, so this worked better on my prototype, but now I've got to see what's going on here. Excuse me. Let me do something here. Oh, I'm struggling here. Struggle. I think I'm just going to come around and make sure that's glued there. So I'm going to make sure that when I glue this, that I glue it along here. Struggle no more. Okay, and because that's just kind of a little bit long there, we're just going to cut that off right there. Oh, these Tim Holtz scissors really work welly. They work well. My goodness. They work welly. Okay, so there's your basic bases for this. That's kind of what it looks like on the back, but you're not really going to see the back too much. But if that bothers you too much, you can go ahead and just glue it. Just like that, run a little strip of glue there and just glue the poo out of that thing. Make sure it just stays down. How about that? Then that way you're not bothered with that. Or if you kind of want to even that up, which you could do, which I'll go ahead and do, just, I know some of you are probably like, would you just even that up? Oh, good, thank you. That looks a lot better. I try to imagine. Oh, gosh. One of the things I remember when I was in school, and I don't know if this bothered you all or not, but used to bother the poo out of me. You know, in the old black chalkboards that they had, and now I don't think they use chalkboards anymore. I'd be very surprised if they did. But anyway, when the teacher, you know, she had written out a bunch of stuff, you know, on the board, and then she'd go to erase it, and then she just didn't erase the entire thing. That used to drive me crazy. She left little bits and pieces on of writing on the chalkboard, and I used to always think to myself, here, just let me, you know, I thought this, I didn't actually do it. I probably would have gotten in trouble if I had. But I always wanted to get up out of my chair and say, now let me get the rest of that for you. Anyway, that's what I thought of back then. I don't know if you thought of that or not. But see, look, that doesn't look bad on the back. I mean, if you're worried about what it looks like on the back, it doesn't look bad. And there you go. Now we're going to add something around here. Now, like on this one, I added some material. You know those fat quarters that you can buy for if you're quilting? I am not a quilter. Heavenly days, no, I am not. But probably because my mother was a seamstress, not only did I like to go through her button tin, but I always enjoyed looking through her fabrics. And I'm still that way to this very day. I have a sewing machine, but my sewing machine right now, something's gone on with the tension, and I just haven't messed with it lately. So after I did that, I just went, I'm just going to put the cover over it and just forget about it for now. So I like when things work. I don't like when things are kind of like, eh. But so anyway, I digress. But yeah. Yeah, so I'm just not a sewing type of person or anything like that. I've done small projects before that required a little bit of sewing, but not much. And, the thing that I really like is I will go to these stores, or sometimes, you know, you can find them at different types of, flea markets and things like that, where they'll sell the fat quarters for, you know, quilters. And I think to myself, oh, I just want that so bad, so I buy it. And then a lot of times I buy it and I think to myself, now why did I buy that? You know, and I've had this particular one for probably about 3 years. It had to have been at least 3 years now. And we got it at probably like a little specialty sewing shop. Don't even know where it was now. But anyway, I just thought it was really, really cute. It's got little couches on it, and it just looks real homey and everything. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead, and I don't want to cut this as wide as I did with this one, because you can't really see. I want to be able to see the more of the what do you call the jean material underneath that. So I'm just going to cut myself, cut out. I don't want to cut myself, no. But I want to cut out a piece that will let me see more of the jean material then. is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So this doesn't end up being really super long. I'm just going to go ahead and pause it then.